Right now, at this very moment, you could buy silver in New York, fly it to Shanghai, sell it there, and walk away with more money than you started with. That is not a theory. That is not illegal. That is happening every single day. And the reason it is happening tells you everything you need to know about how money actually works in this country and who controls it. If you want to understand the real game being played with your dollar, with your savings, and with your future, do yourself a favor and subscribe to John's Silver Update right now. This is not entertainment. This is information most people will never hear. Silver is trading at a premium in China. That means Chinese buyers are paying more per ounce than American buyers. Sometimes the difference is small. Sometimes it is significant, but it is consistent. And when something is consistent in global markets, it is not random. It is structural. It is policy. It is control. Here's what most people do not understand. Silver is not just a shiny metal. It is money. It has been money for thousands of years. Governments hate that. They cannot print silver. They cannot inflate it. They cannot control it the way they control paper. So they do the next best thing. They suppress it. They manage it. They make sure it does not compete with the dollar. In the United States, silver is cheap. It is available. You can walk into a coin shop or order it online and pay close to the spot price. There is no shortage. There is no panic. The market is calm. But in China, the story is different. Chinese buyers are willing to pay more. They are competing for physical silver. They are pulling it out of the global supply. And they are doing this because they do not trust the dollar, the same way Americans are taught to trust it. This is not about culture. This is about policy. China has spent decades accumulating physical assets, gold, silver, commodities. They are preparing for a world where the dollar is not the only option. They are hedging. They are protecting their wealth. And they are doing it in plain sight, while most Americans are not paying attention. The premium exists because of capital controls, import taxes, and demand that outpaces local supply. But it also exists because the Chinese government allows it. They could flood their market with silver if they wanted to. They do not. They let the premium grow. They let their citizens pay more. Why? Because they would rather have their people hold silver than hold dollars. Now think about what that means. Think about what it says when a foreign government would rather see its people overpay for a metal than hold U.S. currency. It says they see the end game. It says they know what happens when you print trillions of dollars and call it stimulus. It says they understand inflation better than most Americans do. You are being told that the economy is strong. You are being told that inflation is under control. You are being told that your savings are safe in a bank account, earning less than 1% interest while prices go up every single year. But across the ocean, people are paying a premium to get out of that system. They are paying extra just to hold something real. This is arbitrage. That is the technical term. It means buying low in one market and selling high in another. Traders do it. Banks do it. Corporations do it. And they do it because the opportunity exists. But here is what nobody is saying. The opportunity exists because the system is broken. It exists because the dollar is being managed, not valued. It exists because trust is falling and physical assets are rising. 50 years ago, this did not happen. 50 years ago, the dollar was still connected to gold. There were rules. There were limits. You could not just print money whenever you wanted. But in 1971, that ended. The gold standard was dropped. The dollar became a promise. And promises can be broken. Since then, the government has printed more money than at any point in history. The Federal Reserve has expanded the money supply over and over again. And every time they do, your dollar buys a little less, your paycheck stretches a little less, your savings lose a little more value. But most people do not see it happening because it happens slowly. The premium in China is a warning. It is a signal. It is proof that not everyone believes the story you are being told. The reason silver trades at a premium in China is not complicated. It comes down to three things: supply limits, government policy, and fear. But the reason it does not trade at a premium here is even more important. It is because Americans are not afraid yet. They are not protecting themselves. They are not asking the right questions. And that is exactly how the system wants it. In the United States, silver is treated like a commodity. It is traded on exchanges. It is priced in futures contracts. It is bought and sold on paper more than it is bought and sold in physical form. Most of the silver that trades hands in America never moves. It sits in a vault somewhere while ownership changes on a screen. That keeps the price stable. That keeps the market liquid. And that keeps people calm. But in China, the demand is for physical metal. Not paper contracts, not promises, not shares in a fund. Actual silver that you can hold in your hand. And when demand for physical metal rises faster than supply, the price goes up. That is basic economics. Except it is not just economics. It is a survival instinct. Chinese citizens have watched their government control their currency. They have seen entire industries rise and fall based on policy decisions made in a single room. They have lived through currency devaluations and capital flight restrictions. So when they have extra money, they do not leave it in a bank. They convert it. They buy gold. They buy silver. They buy property. They buy anything that cannot be printed or taken away with the stroke of a pen. Americans do not think that way. Americans are taught to trust the system. Put your money in a bank. Invest in the stock market. Save for retirement in a 401k. Trust the Federal Reserve. Trust the Treasury. Trust the government to manage the currency responsibly. And for a long time, that trust was not misplaced. But things have changed. The money supply has exploded. The national debt has passed $36 trillion. Interest payments on that debt now exceed the entire defense budget. The government is borrowing money just to pay interest on money it already borrowed. That is not sustainable. That is not responsible. That is a countdown. But the average American does not see it. They see their paycheck. They see their bills. They see prices going up and wages staying flat. But they do not connect it to monetary policy. They do not connect it to the Federal Reserve. They do not connect it to the fact that every time the government prints another $1 trillion, their savings lose value. China sees it. That is why the premium exists. That is why their citizens are willing to pay more for silver than you are. They are not smarter. They are not richer. They are just less trusting. And in a world where currencies are being debased at record speed, lack of trust is an advantage. Now, here's what most people miss. The premium in China is not just about China. It is about global flow. It is about where money is moving and why. Silver is leaving the West and going east. It has been happening for years. Refineries in Switzerland take silver from New York and London and ship it to Shanghai and Hong Kong. The flow is one direction. And when assets flow in one direction for long enough, it creates a price imbalance. That imbalance is arbitrage. That is the opportunity. Buy cheap in the West, sell high in the East, pocket the difference, repeat. It sounds simple. And it is simple. But it only works because the two markets are not connected the way they should be. They are separated by policy, by regulation, by control. In a truly free market, prices would equalize. If silver cost more in China, people would ship it there until the price dropped. If it cost less in America, people would buy it here until the price rose. Supply and demand would balance. But that is not happening. The premium persists. And it persists because governments on both sides benefit from the imbalance. China benefits because its people are buying hard assets instead of holding dollars. America benefits because low silver prices keep inflation expectations down and keep people invested in paper. Both governments are managing their markets. Both are controlling the narrative. And both are hoping their citizens do not notice. But some people are noticing. They are buying physical silver. They are moving wealth out of the banking system. They are preparing for a future where paper promises are not enough. And they are doing it quietly, without headlines, without panic, because they understand that the time to prepare is before the crisis, not during it. The premium in China is not a glitch. It is a feature. It is a symptom of a global system that is breaking down slowly enough that most people do not see it happening. So what does this mean for you? What does it mean when a metal that costs less here costs more somewhere else, and that gap does not close? It means the system is fractured. It means trust is breaking. It means the people who understand money are moving it out of paper and into things that cannot be printed. And it means you are running out of time to do the same. The arbitrage opportunity exists because of inefficiency. But inefficiency in global markets does not last unless someone wants it to last. Central banks want it. Governments want it. They want silver to be cheap in the West so people stay calm. They want it expensive in the East so their populations buy local assets and stop trying to move money offshore. This is not a conspiracy. This is coordination. And it has been happening for decades. Every time you hear that inflation is under control, ask yourself why silver is not reflecting that. Every time you hear that the economy is strong, ask yourself why foreign buyers are paying a premium for hard assets. Every time you hear that your savings are safe, ask yourself why the people who run the global financial system are hoarding gold and silver in vaults while telling you to keep your money in a bank. The difference between now and 50 years ago is trust. 50 years ago, the dollar was backed by something real. You could walk into a bank and exchange your dollars for gold. The government could not print unlimited money because there was a limit to how much gold existed. That system was not perfect, but it was honest. It had rules. It had consequences. Today, there are no rules. There are no consequences. The Federal Reserve can create trillions of dollars with a keyboard. The Treasury can borrow without limit. Congress can spend without accountability. And the only thing holding the system together is belief. Belief that the dollar will hold its value. Belief that inflation will stay low. Belief that the government will not destroy the currency to pay its debts. China does not have that belief. That is why they pay more for silver. That is why they have been accumulating gold for years. That is why their central bank has been reducing its dollar reserves and increasing its holdings of physical assets. They are not preparing for next year. They are preparing for the next 50 years. They are preparing for a world where the dollar is no longer the default. And they are doing it while Americans are told everything is fine. You need to understand something. When the premium in China grows, it is not just a price signal. It is a trust signal. It is a measure of how much confidence exists in paper currency versus physical assets. And right now, that confidence is falling. Not collapsing, not crashing, just falling, slowly, steadily, quietly. The people who see it are acting. They are buying silver while it is still cheap in the United States. They are taking delivery. They are holding it outside the banking system. They are not waiting for permission. They are not waiting for confirmation. They are not waiting for the news to tell them it is time. Because by the time the news tells you, it is too late. This is not about getting rich. This is about not getting poor. This is about protecting what you have earned from a system that is designed to devalue it. Every dollar you hold loses value over time. That is not an opinion. That is policy. The Federal Reserve has a 2% inflation target. That means they are intentionally reducing the value of your money by 2% every year. And that is the target. The reality is often higher. Silver does not have an inflation target. It cannot be printed. It cannot be created out of nothing. It exists in finite supply. And when people lose trust in paper, they go back to what has always worked. They go back to real money. The premium in China is not a distant problem. It is a present warning. It is proof that the global financial system is splitting. It is proof that not everyone believes the story anymore. And it is proof that the people who move first have an advantage over the people who wait. So here is the question you need to ask yourself. If foreign buyers are willing to pay more for the same metal you can buy cheaper, what do they know that you do not? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this made you think twice about where your money is, share this with someone who needs to hear it.